Hey,
Guys,
don't discount Delhi. Delhi
I
still has a decent timing.
I respect Delhi, but I'm really scared of Rus. Really, really scared. I feel like Rus just has all the cards in their deck. They have horse archers. And now, for those of you
That's a big card.
that's the biggest card. How do you even counter that card? It's just there's so many of
Our
them, and when
elephants.
yes, let's make elephants against the horse archers. That's a great idea. It's so cost efficient as well.
I mean, look, you said how do you counter them? Well, if you fight them straight up, then I would make tower elephants.
I actually thought
But
that you could counter them with towers, but
that's
you.
somewhat true.
What, Chris?
Oh,
What is this?
next.
I've
Wait,
never seen this scene. What is going on here?
I'm a little scared now. Help! What's going on? Anyway, folks, this is the first match of today's qualifier at the Garrison Milan event. Not quite at, but we're getting there. We are watching Blid here as the Green Delhi in the Eastern spawn, going up against StrikeR as the Rus. We're only 2 minutes 40 in, so Cow didn't delay us all that much with his little Dark Age aggression against us. And we see a Golden Gate come up. No surprises there.
Golden Gate? In this meta? Now, of course. The Golden Gate just allows you, again, to have more answers. I love that about the Golden Gate. Now, I know we haven't seen the standard all, what is that, TC Rus play we used to see from the Golden Gate back in the day, but the Golden Gate allows you just to change your composition. It allows you to change the way you're playing so easily because of that favorable trade. Well, I feel like with Delhi, you do need a lot of answers because you need to know, is Delhi going to go for that easy, fast castle as well to try and match you? Or are they going to try and beat you very early on? Now, with Rus not needing gold for quite a long time in the game, I don't know if Delhi is going to be able to pump hard enough to shut him down in feudal. So excited to see which one of these bad boys are going to go for a faster castle and what the play is here. But with StrikeR going for 3 scouts, I don't want to
There's
get you
writing
too
on the
excited.
wall. Oh, look, they're hanging out at the deer pack. I wonder what they're doing. But maybe he's just pushing.
He
Is he actually? Oh my,
Yes.
that's beautiful.
I've seen this very recently as well. A lot of players are pushing that first deer pack because this is a way to deny that professional scouts. So getting to push them a little bit closer is just going to make sure that you don't need to worry about that first deer pack, and you're going to be able to just professional scout and go for your opponents. And from what I can see on Blid's side of the map, he's definitely not got the best deer spot there, and also he cannot push them as effectively because he doesn't have more than 1 scout. So Blid is definitely going to be susceptible to, getting raided, or his deer getting raided at least.
Yeah, we have the immediate pro scouts as StrikeR hits feudal, and we have Blid hitting it as well. And look, there is a pro scouts tech up. Do we have a second mill for him maybe? But it does not look like it because there is no more mill techs queued up as we watch this beautiful pushing going on. Yeah, just the 1 mill, and we have the stable going up. So I am expecting Blid to open with some Ghazi Raiders here to contest StrikeR, but the first deer pack will not be contested because it will already be in the Rus space.
Yeah, and StrikeR just needs to worry a lot less about different things now because he's got that food source secured, and now his only job is going to be getting those scouts on the other side of the map and yoinking some of the deer on Blid's side. Now, with Blid's professional scouts, that's also going to take a lot longer to complete. He needs to do some work with these Ghazi Raiders, and, he's got 2, or second one coming now, but I feel like Blid might not be aware of what shenanigans is happening. You can see the deer in the fog of war, but watching for this specific thing, again, it's going to need some time to revolve in the meta. No vision on them anymore. We'll just see the deer pack from the ground disappear, and the boys have picked up, all 3 of them going to deliver right to the TC, and probably going to go for the next 3 as well. Would have liked to see them going onto the Delhi side too, so that you can deny those. But knowing you're playing as Delhi, you have the time to delay this.
Yeah, and Blid is looking for some damage here coming from the south side, but if you look at it, there's the wooden fortress, the TC is still in range. You just can't get at the Rus economy in this early stage anymore. Everything's just covered. The hunting cabbage is merrily producing passive gold there in the middle, and you just get all that wood safely and sell it. But here come the scouts.
Now, the problem with just scouts is Ghazis deal with those pretty well. We see professional scouts from Delhi now being quite far away from being done, and the scout numbers aren't there to support any of the professional scouting themselves. StrikeR now trying to do a little bit more by getting a knight here, because knights are going to be pretty good against these, especially with the scout support. They still do pretty well by clapping those cheeks with that little blade. We can see the knight is taking a lot of damage, but the scouts are forcing that bad boy to go right back. Now, the knight needs to be careful. It's a very expensive unit to lose this early on in the game. Scouts are fighting back, though, but the numbers from Blid are scary. And he's instantly going into Spearman, which is going to be great.
Nice snipe there. He's gonna lose the Ghazi, though? Nah, no second hit, and the knight cannot catch up. So that's what was a nice play by Blid there. And now he can just pull back his Ghazis and heal them up. So that's the beauty of the Delhi there. And as we say, beauty of the Delhi, Blid's Sanctity has finished, so he should be moving out to take Sacreds, and StrikeR doesn't have units to contest that right now.
And StrikeR might have all the food in the world. I mean, it's not uncontested food, which is honestly amazing play here by Blid. His responsiveness, his awareness, and the micro. Getting those knights to go down was so important. And StrikeR, I'm surprised he let him get there, but this might just be Blid showing us that he's not scared. But that Ghazi also in danger. Keeping in mind that Blid's attention is in more than one place, he's getting all his units spread out, making sure that he gets those sacred sites too, and the spearmen across the map. So this is something that's easily going to take your attention, and you're going to be struggling to keep track of everything.
Yeah, Blid will be forced to pull back here. I wonder where his spears are. They should be arriving shortly. Now, I'm also surprised that StrikeR actually committed that hard to this deer pack right down here. Because usually what you do is when 5 Ghazis show up at your southern camp, well, you're gonna put one scout, maybe one knight down there, distract them, and just grab the other one, as is happening on the screen right now. And here come the spears. Now let's see that movement speed penalty.
Now, there's also a knight that shut down that sacred site, and that's the problem. When you're dealing with knights, you probably need 2 spearmen to take that bad boy down, but look, more knights at the cost. No, never mind. They are able to run back without being punished, and now the knight count is starting to get scary. Another poor little prelate going down.
Yeah, usually you see a whole lot of fast castle into horse archer, as we've seen a lot in the EGC tournament, but StrikeR is committing to feudal. Archery range is down. We see lots of knights. We see archers moving out. And Blid, he is currently making scouts and not really committing to mass units. He has a lot of resources on his bank account there.
I don't think he knows what he needs to do right now. Maybe the way that he's floating these resources is just a way for him to be like, okay, I do have the choice to go castle. I might need to do it. And he's still feeling it out. Because if you see someone committing to feudal, you would not be seeing that amount of resources in the bank. So this is spelling castle for me, but I like to call this one responsible castle. You make units, you make sure your opponent is forced to make units, and you delay them as soon as possible. StrikeR now with quite a bit of archers to deal with these spearmen. This is going to be expensive because Blid does not have an answer to this. Yes, you're going to get a Ghazi there. The spearmen are going to be taken down, and I feel like the moment Blid tries to age up, or ages up, he's going to die.
Yeah, there's 9 knights out now and 8 archers. Issue is, Blid took maybe like 5 deer. I don't know the current state of his sheep count, but it shouldn't be super pretty. There's, of course, we're on Himeyama. There should be berries in the back of his base. But other than that, he's gonna be in for a rough time food-wise soon. And if he goes castle now, he might just fall over and die.
Problem when we played Delhi against Delhi in the last patch, when they just had the ability to get so much food, get units out so much quicker than you. And the only way you could shut them down for the last few patches has been when they get out of their base and start going on external food sources. And that's exactly the position that Blid's going to be in soon. He delayed his castle age a little bit more by starting to make a few units as well, but again, it doesn't look like he's fully committing to this. He's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, not too sure if this is the right move yet. Getting enough spearmen to deal with the knights, but Those are really going to struggle against this massive archers coming from StrikeR. House of Learning being popped down now, and with 16 as well. He's really hoping to get this quickly, but getting something this quickly is fine, but at the same time, he needs to spend those resources.
This is real scary. He's aging up with all of his gold vills. He only holds the one sacred side. Basically, the perfect unit for him as soon as he ages up is war elephants. That would just counter everything that StrikeR has, but he cannot afford them right now. He has no gold. Even if he hits castle right now, StrikeR has a timing window here to just push him. And I'm a little scared for Blid now.
Yeah, the problem is StrikeR, he's been spending his resources, and yes, he's floating quite a bit, but you can see with the amount of units, they're high quality units as well. You can see that in the army values very, very clearly. Blid now, not getting gold, him maybe having the thought process of, I don't really need gold that much, because I'm Delhi, my upgrades are free. 6 back on gold now, which is not a huge amount when you're desperately trying to get upgrades like most civilizations, but their upgrades are free, they're slower. But you can see he's trying to get some of those men-at-arms to try and tank this. But those knights, they're still gonna
men-at-arms. Alright. And he does have 11 spears, so StrikeR is a little bit scared to push without the archers. Gonna decap the side now eventually. It held out longer than I thought it would, because Blid had nothing down there.
The problem is this army is really scary, and I feel like StrikeR, even though he has a scarier army, he feels confident in going in high trade house because he knows how much deer he's gotten from this map. The archers countering those units perfectly. Spearmen not really standing in a good position. They instantly start firing at the crossbows as well, which is the only thing that's going to deal with those knights. So very, very well played here by StrikeR, instantly knowing what he needs to go for. Spearmen moving a little bit forward, but keeping in mind they're also still not upgraded. This is like having a feudal fight, except your opponent has all the counters to all your units.
Yeah, Blid is slowly bleeding out units. Archer count, though, going slowly down as well. StrikeR just does not want to commit the knights until he has the castle upgrade. High Trade House is almost finished. If we look at that, I guess like 145 should be in there. And we are set up.
Yeah,
okay.
He doesn't have the goal to instantly queue up any upgrades. Now the knight's coming in. But this might just spell the fact that he's not too worried. He's not in a rush to do the push. He knows he's ahead, economically, at least, because he's Rus. He does have the passive resources as well. He's got the control. He's got the counter units. He doesn't need to rush. But at the same time, you don't want to let your opponent just get gold, get crossbows, and try to make a comeback. So StrikeR needs to know when to strike, and we see that knight upgrade coming in very soon. Tick-tock. Question is he going to actually... Ooh, going to hide those bad boys in the corner? Never mind. I was too excited for that one.
Blid is trying to move out to the berries now. He's hurting for food a little bit. His deer will be just about running out. He got the bottom pack and he got most of the top pack, so that's quite a bit. But army-wise, it's still super scary. There's 14 knights out. He has only 6 crossbows and the spear count got diminished quite a bit.
Yeah, the problem is Blid is getting time to respond now. I feel like StrikeR, he doesn't realize how much he was in control there for a bit. The wood line is exposed at this point. Those knights are very, very movable. And this is giving him time to get those counter units. And he's getting them. We can see those crossbows. Now an elephant coming in too, your favorite thing. Our observer not really... worry too much about that fight
nice
at the back as well. Blid going
I
with
love
the 2-prong
raid.
attack.
He takes out 2, and he takes out the scholar. Oh no! It's always be so unlucky. You just walk by the enemy randomly, takes a turn there, and well, goodbye scholar. And Woodline gets raided too. We do have a little bit of an army in the back there. That's 3, 6, 7 knights. Yeah, they have to pull back. Can't deal with the crossbows with a front line there.
That we can see now here is StrikeR is trying to do those 2-pronged attacks. And it's great that he's doing that, but he needs to be careful not to lose his knights. Those units are so valuable. And yes, he's getting those villager kills. He's already got 4. He's getting those relics slowly closer to his base. But StrikeR needs to keep his head and focus on not losing too much. even these guys at the back, he needs to be careful with them, but he's doing an amazing job at keeping Blid busy and raiding. Now, Blid, you can see he's bleeding food right now, 600 food per minute.
That's a big overcommitment by Blid here. His army is all on their lonesome out there, and these knights will not let them get home safely.
Those knights are mobile, they're ready to chunk, and those men-at-arms are not going to do too well against the knights. He does turn around and try to do a little bit more damage. He realizes, hey, I should not put this elephant in harm's way. This is my only way of winning a fight in the near future. And this is a scary army going up against that singular elephant. And even with Blid trying to do a little bit of counter-attacking as well, does not get a villager, but he does get a little bit of idle time there from Mr. StrikeR.
Yeah, there was a good raid there with the knight in the back. I do like that Blid is going for this now, but there was a really big blunder at the bottom there. He needed those army numbers, because if you look at the count now, 50 to 28. Yes, there's not really a way to deal with the elephant, but 20 knights will eventually deal with most anything.
Now the elephant here, he can perform miracles, but those miracles need to be a lot larger than they're currently being. Look at that elephant go. He's trying to do a little bit of denting damage, but the boys are surrounding the elephant, and the elephant is just like smacking away. As we can see, the archers perfectly target firing the crossbows at the back. Really, really well played here from StrikeR, trying to get those down, giving his knights the time to actually deal with Mr. Elephant here. And that was his only elephant, and his only hope of trying to make a comeback here.
Yeah,
I feel like,
and Blid knows it. He's out.
I feel like Blid did have an opportunity there. Just throwing away a little chunk of your army is such an easy mistake to make. But he definitely played a decent game against someone who's much higher rated than him. I'm very impressed by the way that Blid was able to defend, but I think he learned from that. And he knows that there are going to be two-prong attacks. StrikeR needs to be a little bit more careful with losing those, but kept his cool. He kept fighting well. I don't know if that was a little bit of an idle TC right there. That looks like a whammon graph right there. It's something I would do.
Is whammon graph, is it now a compliment, or what would you say to that?
No. Whammon graph is when you forget that you have TCs, and yes, that's a whammon graph. And the beautiful graphs brought to you by the cow, the ultimate cow, giving us the resource insight that we needed. Blid getting a lot of stone here, and I'm surprised. I actually feel like I didn't notice the stone being gotten in any of this.
Oh yeah, we totally whiffed on that because we were focused on, well, Blid losing the game because he overextended, unfortunately. Now, we've seen some miraculous plays where one elephant killed 20 knights because there were 10 scholars in the back healing it, but unfortunately Blid did not go for that. I was kind of looking forward to like a real hype moment there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Coastal Cliffs, made by Avely. And oh yeah, right, the stone is further away. How do you feel about that as Byzantines? You just don't, right?
I don't feel anything about that, but I feel a little bit confused.
How do you feel about this? Oh my god. And Blid scouts it. Here comes the cistern rush.
I am super confused, and I'm really glad I haven't seen this in any of my games, because I would be panicking. 5 villages now being on the other side of the map, and we do see on StrikeR's side there's 0 food per minute, right?
He's going for the boar.
The boar.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Can Blid do anything about this?
The thing is, even if he does,
I mean, you go for the mill, you go for the I mean, you need a tower here, right? I was very excited for a second there because I thought we're getting a cistern rush, but we could get a reverse cistern rush there because it's very close to the Byzantine base, right?
It feels
StrikeR would have to
very
leave.
risky. And he's getting his survival techniques as well. This man is like, hey, I'm gonna eat this piece of meat, and I don't care what you do about it. He also went for the further or closer boar, I guess is the right word to say. But I don't know if Blid knows how to respond to this. And this is the problem when you're not facing crazy opponents very often, and why people sometimes say like, oh, they hate playing against Vortex, because he's able to just do the craziest things and they work. And you don't get to practice against stuff like this. This is one of those. StrikeR just Vortexed him or beat him.
I'd go with beat him there because that's also really cool. Nice going there, Marika. You really got a talent for this. You should be a caster or something.
Oh, Okay. So with this amount of villages at the front, you are susceptible, right? But you've already mind gamed your opponent. So Blid is asking himself now, okay, am I supposed to invest in this? Am I supposed to shut it down? And I feel like the moment he decides to shut it down, StrikeR already got quite a bit of value from this. So
I mean,
Byzantine takes a while.
Blid is just ignoring this right now, and I'm not sure that's the right call because I feel like it would be quite easy to actually contest this. StrikeR did not go for a tower. Of course, you don't know that as the Byzantine. But if you cancel your cistern and build it out there next to the boar and hit Akritoy, StrikeR has to leave. Or if you drop down a Dark Age barracks, StrikeR has to build a tower, and then you can still try to poke him because, well, Limitane do have that shield wall ability. But Blid did not go for either of those, so StrikeR gets free boar food. It goes up with the Meanwork Palace right now. It's not the Meanwork anymore, it's the Minework. It's fine. I need to adjust my perspective. OTD is a good civ now.
I think Cal's trying to show us he's going to put a barracks down there. And yes, he will most likely put a barracks down there. Getting the mine work back at home as well, it's going to be great. But right now what we're seeing here with Blid is following the build order. Blid is saying like, hey, this is the build order. This is how many I need on gold. This is how many I need on food. This is how many I need to age up with. And he's doing the textbook Byzantines. He's not ready
super standard.
Exactly. And I think this is usually the difference that you see with different levels of players. You have your top 20, let's say, and all of them know how to play the game. But when you get to the top 10, those people are usually very adjustable. They see something and they're like, okay, I'm going to reinvent the wheel here and show you how things are done. So I want to see if Blid adjusts from the standard Byzantines build, but I don't think he feels that confident right now.
I had so wished if he had just cancelled his cistern and moved it forward and took the boar from StrikeR. That would have been my highlight of the day. Just, I know. There's not a whole lot that can top that anymore. But we didn't go for it. Byzantine about to hit feudal, but the OTD will not be far behind. And does StrikeR just go home now, or does he put up some defenses here and just stays until the last 1,000 food is gone?
Now, StrikeR is actually a man who, getting professional scouts now, I feel like his scout will tell him what to do. He's going to see, am I being contested? And the answer is yes, he is being contested. But now this barracks is being built by one villager and one villager only. So now the barracks is going to take a while. StrikeR sees it. He's like, okay, cool. I have about 20 to 30 seconds before I need to think about moving back. Or I can just put my own barracks down. Or plan C, tower. And he can just keep eating the boar. That boar has given him all the value in the world, and he still has every bit of food on the rest of the map.
This tower gives him really nice vision because you can basically almost see up to the wood line at the top. You'll see everything that moves out of the Byzantine base. And behind all of that, there's more food. Right there on the right side of that sacred side that StrikeR will be trying to take next. Yeah, I agree with this decision. This is nice.
When we now see that spearman ready to punish those boar villagers, but he's going to be running into a tower, and StrikeR, he didn't even need to make a barracks at this point. He's just chilling. Well, now he probably dropped down a barracks. We see something going down, wood just disappeared. But the tower that he just did forced a reaction from Blid, and this reaction he invested into, and he's invested into something that isn't going to give him any value. He now has 2 spearmen.
I mean, you say no value, but StrikeR is right now on Pro Scouts, so these spears can contest the Pro Scouts, but they need to get past the tower first.
And Double Scout coming out now, so he's not going to do any sneaky horseman shenanigans because he doesn't need to. We see the first deer going to be dropped down here. Really, really nice to have there for Mr. StrikeR, but we can see there's a lot of food in the bank already. None on gold. So we are going to be seeing a lot of units pumping out here, especially with the archery range being plopped down. You guys know how annoying Order of the Dragon archers are. Double archery range now, a lot on wood too. So this is going to be a flood of archers. And with Blid getting longbows, they're going to do fine for a second. And then Order of the Dragon is just going to overwhelm with so many units. And horsemen joining the fight as well. Getting a horseman into this mix is most likely just going to be game ending for Blid because
You're
he
painting a
cancels.
horribly dark picture there
No.
for Blid. I feel like I have to break a lance for Byzantines here. Yes, the longbows are a little on the weaker side early because you get 5 and then you get a whole lot of nothing and then you get another 5. And if your opponent can somehow reduce that number, the early oil income is just not there to get a real mass. And OTD archers are scary, but we still have more range. StrikeR only has archers right now, which unfortunately is very fine against Blid's current composition. But yeah, Byzantine can snowball still. They have a really amazing economy behind this because of the cisterns and because of their double dipping on the oil. So let's not count him out here just yet. StrikeR's going for the other boar.
That is an insane amount of food to just get for free. So where you're seeing now StrikeR just feeling like he's confidently taking these boars, and with these archers to defend him, he's going to be in a pretty decent spot. But Blid sees these archers and he's like, hey, I need a horseman, which is probably the best damn choice he could have made. Really good reaction here by Blid. He knows now, okay, gotta make some stuff. But keep in mind, we just can't lose anything because these archers are really scary. The longbow mass, we're getting the second bunch coming out pretty soon, and we see the amount of oil he's getting. He is in an okay spot to keep making these free units.
Tricomp is revealed. StrikeR spots out the horseman there. And do we have a reaction? Not just yet. I mean, StrikeR just has to make enough of horsemen. No barracks just yet. Nope, nothing.
He doesn't believe in the barracks.
He doesn't. I mean, I've had a long discussion with Myriad about why spears are the worst unit in the game and you should never build them. I was not convinced at the end because I saw him lose a game to spears. But you know, there is different opinions out there, and we'll see if StrikeR can make it work with just the cavalry archer combination. StrikeR had to vacate the boar here. No tower here to defend. Doesn't have the units currently to contest this Byzantine army.
Now, StrikeR is trying to respond to this by also just investing in a few more horsemen. He's also got a few villages on gold now. We see that first upgrade coming in. The first ranged upgrade coming in, so he can deal with that amount of longbows that's coming his way. But with this amount of archers, he should be able to hold this off for now. But he needs to be careful. That first villager is in danger. And the horseman going down, not a chance, he says, for that vill. Look at how low that villager was. Perfectly body blocked, making sure that those guys cannot go in further. And Blid now, he keeps looking for the damage, though. Oh, and on top of the deer as well.
This is such a scary position, though. He has 10 longbows. That's his entire oil army. And he only has 8 spears. Not all of them are here. If the spears are gone, these just 3 horsemen will be feasting. And yeah, even Blid's own horsemen will not be able to do a whole lot to stop them from just killing all of the longbows.
Now, the horsemen here, they are quite scary, but they don't realize what's happening here at the back. The spearmen instantly pulled back by Blid. Amazing work here by Blid. Just making sure that he can pull back right at the time to defend those longbows standing there. Now,
this is wasting a lot of time of StrikeR's because he cannot pro scout these deer camp. That's really nicely played, but like Blid cannot stay here for long because StrikeR will eventually just outmass him and then this entire army will die.
And this is a very expensive army, but look at those archers perfectly firing the... Oh, they're perfectly firing the donzos. The longbows are not long for this world either. They're trying their best. The horsemen onto the archers at the back, but the numbers are just too big here from StrikeR. And this is the problem with Byzantines. The moment you get an army, your opponent can try to split them up so that your reinforcements cannot reach. And that's exactly what StrikeR did here. Blid now, he's going up at the Golden Horn Tower, but he needs to delay this. And I don't feel like StrikeR is going to let him. You can see he's just making more and more units, 2 more horsemen in queue. Archers as quickly as he can. He's floating a little bit. No, another archer in queue. The man says, I'm going to keep pushing, knowing that he's most likely out on the rest of the map. The Golden Horn Tower only starting now. He's clicked it, but took a little while to actually place that bad boy.
Okay, Blid has some resources to act in castle right now. But how are these resources laid out. He did finish the wall there at the bottom, I do hope. Or is that just new? Production, show me the wall. Okay, well, there's no wall. This is scary. This is real bad. If StrikeR gets in there, basically, we don't have any food income. For Blid, that would be real bad. And 41 to 13 military. Yeah, StrikeR scouts out the age up and will be moving towards the Byzantine base now.
Yeah, now in the shoes of StrikeR, you have those two choices, right? You can either just keep pushing, knowing the Byzantines, even when they do age up, they don't get anything massive that changes the game. Oh, Golden Horn Tower idle again. Probably another raid or something happening there at the back. Now, the problem is here, those villages are idle. Like you said, the food source is now in a little bit of danger. And StrikeR knows he has two choices. I can age up or I can just push. And it looks like he's going to go for a little bit of both. We see this gold being floated a little while. He tries to see, is this the responsible choice? And he realizes, I can't lose too much. He's going to stop producing and go up to castle himself. Just getting those extra chunky units. Now with the cataphracting queue, Blid is really hoping that these guys can do some real damage.
Varangian, Cataphract, and Veteran Longbow. He cancels the Cataphract. He does not believe in it. Shout out to Jiggly. Sorry, you're not getting the gulp. There is no Cataphracts.
Now we can see that Blid has learned from previous raids that, hey, walls are important, but these walls, they might get shut down very quickly too. I mean, when the villager starts to poke his head out there, the scout is always on top of him. StrikeR, really keeping a close eye on these. Blid is trying to match up to this, getting another cataphract. He decides cataphracts might be the only thing chunky enough to deal with these guys running around my base. Those horsemen, though, they are quite extended, but they are very healthy. And they took down a villager in the process as well.
Yeah, Blid realizes these horsemen are all out on their lonesome, but he needs to pay attention. I don't know, he does not have a scout with his army right now, so he has no idea what's waiting around the next corner. He really cannot afford another blunder like that in front of the OTD base he did earlier. Burgrave Palace is coming in as we speak. And I mean, StrikeR's income is so good because he's on the boar. He had took all of the deer on the map, except for... Did he actually get some of Blid's deer? Guess
One.
No.
No.
Does not look like he got to them, so that's nice for Blid. Basically, StrikeR only got his own. But yeah, double boar is a lot of really good food income, and he will be burgraving it up with a lot of... Yeah, he's going men-at-arms.
And men-at-arms just don't have an answer right now. Blid here, he doesn't have the ability to make crossbows. I don't even think he has an archery range here. But Blid knows he needs to attack, most likely now because these upgrades are coming in, but the men-at-arms are going to be here pretty quickly too. Cataphract causing a little bit of idle time and getting one solid kill. His horses trying to get a little bit deeper in. Cataphract, ooh, he does get a few
fighting in the
more.
choke point. That's a little scary right next to the Burgrave. Against this mass of archers especially. Upgrades are coming in now, so yeah, Blid did not really get a whole lot of damage done. 6 villager kills in total. I mean, I'll say this is 6 OTD villagers that died, so it's still damage, it's still decent.
It's pretty good damage, if all considering. The problem is now the army might not make it out here. And again, even though the army is more expensive and you need to still be careful. You are okay. Now, and the scout's pointing out, Golden Kuras is showing, and that means the men-at-arms are just extra spicy the lower HP they get. But we need to get some crossbows or something that can deal with those men-at-arms because those numbers are going to be pumping for a while. We see more Limitene being produced. We see some Landsknecht coming in now. And the problem is just if StrikeR is able to snipe those, the Landsknecht are really going to struggle actually doing something to those men-at-arms.
I'm a little scared for Blid's army positioning once again, because he's positioning in the middle of the map, right? Of course, he does not have the God Vision like we do, but this OTD army, these 16 veteran archers now, there's no balanced projectiles in just yet, but that's a rough number to beat. If Blid gets caught out again, this is just gonna be done. These guys, though, luckily are gonna run into the hopefully finished wall.
And the finished wall is going to set off those alarm bells, though, so the army will pull back and try to stop these. The wolf on the side of Blid now doesn't get to live very long, just like StrikeR is hoping to tell Blid, man, This is going to be quick. The horses getting back in. But now, this can also be game-ending if StrikeR loses these. He lost a lot of villagers. That raid got him so much value. But these guys are fast and apparently do not want to risk it. Takes down the wall in anger and loses a horseman.
Yeah. One horseman goes down. He snipes the scout. That's nice damage there, but StrikeR makes it out clean. I'm kind of surprised that nobody went for any relics just yet. Of course, StrikeR did queue up the Regnids initially, but decided for the Burgrave for the save option because he was behind on the castle timing.
So we see the first religious unit being pumped out this game from Blid's side, so he is thinking about those relics. And StrikeR just focusing on making units, but you can see that's a lot of men-at-arms. And these guys are running quite slow because they're all key-bound together, and longbows slow down an army because their movement speed are so much slower. So these guys are doing quite well. The golden cuirass is going to show us that these guys survive quite a bit longer. The archers doing their best. We do have a few crossbows in the mix. So the longbows need to get onto the back line because these archers are going to be able to snipe down those Langsknecht and all the Limiter as well. But this is looking like an okay fight for Blid, all things considered.
Very good kiting by StrikeR there. He pulls back, deletes a lot of the front line there from Blid and doesn't really take a whole lot of damage himself. So yeah, I'd say that it was a decent fight for StrikeR. Blid is happy to come out of that one alive. And now he's pulling back, but Byzantine eco is slowly kicking off. They are slow to get going initially, but as soon as you have some farms going, you're quite happy. You killed 6 of your OTD opponent's villagers. Oh, here comes the range defense upgrade. 14 archers, 15 archers now. That's very important against the mass longbows we've got going.
And the amount of longbows there is, it is scary. I can imagine most people are like, 20 longbows, I need to deal with these. And he deals with them by getting archers. He's definitely focused on those. He makes sure that he has a pretty good amount because they're dealing with most units in the army of Blid. Now, we do have quite a few crossbows from his side coming out too, but I just feel like he doesn't have the answer for that massive archers coming from Order of the Dragon right now. And on the side of Blid, he does have one relic on the way to the base, but StrikeR is also now setting his eyes on the next relic situation.
Okay, Blid has good vision here. He's right under the tower. This is not upgraded, by the way. No mangonel emplacement. What hurts my soul a little bit is that I still see that 2 water levels with the 400. Okay, he just spent a stone. Please give me a 3rd water level, because that would boost the economy by a whole lot. StrikeR in the meantime, I wonder. Okay, we've got the cistern out there. Going for both deer camps at once. Big engagement now. And both players don't really seem confident to take it. They're unsure who's going to take this fight. It's always rough with trying to judge an OTD army. Right now, though, I'd say this OTD army's backline is real scary. And if he just keeps kiting these longbows, they're just not attacking. Men-at-arms are just frontlining here. Blid doing a good job, though. He lost his cavalry, but the Varangians are still going. He just can't get to the backline of StrikeR. They're just gone.
He did a pretty good job at shutting down a lot of this, though, and apparently he does not like to be connected. Those poor... he says, connections online. He's discovered the telephone lines, and the cisterns will be communicating with each other. Finally, there's peace in the cistern world. And StrikeR, though, that army is not looking as impressive as it did earlier, and Blid has been taking some really, really good trades. Honestly, amazing work here by Blid. I feel like Blid, he is outranked, but it doesn't look like it. It feels like Blid is on level here with StrikeR, and he is just trying to put up a pretty good fight. I think this is probably one of the best games I've seen from Blid in most tournament settings. So I really hope to see him getting onto the back line to see what it could actually be. Now, StrikeR, though, he has something in queue that I don't know if Blid is going to be able to respond to, because that thing is really scary. When you see one of those bad boy knights coming to the back of your line, you are in shambles at that moment.
I was more scared about the spears for a second there, but then I did notice the Juggernaut in the back, and there is 18 crossbows at the other side. So right now, if I'm Blid, I'm not super scared, but then again, if we get some decent knight numbers... We'll wait and see how this one turns out. But right now, how are we looking for resource control for both players? Can we maybe, production, can we get a quick tour of StrikeR's base as far as his food goes?
Oof, what food, actually?
I mean, we're working on it. We're working on it, slowly but surely. So yeah,
Blid?
StrikeR is a little on the rough side for food right now.
Yeah, this does slow him down for a bit, and Blid already has that farm transition. So with Byzantines, it's so easy to quickly get ahead with food. One moment you're starving, and he's got some farms. Ooh, and he's got a man holding the relic, linking all the way to the heavens, but not putting it down just yet, admiring its beauty. Now, the cisterns haven't been connected just yet, so that bonus that he has... Oh, there we go. Maybe that was just us not knowing that.
You cursed it.
I cursed it, yeah. So, in this case, Blid, he is floating a lot of food, which is very standard for Byzantines. I feel like a lot of times when you play Byzantines, you're like, oh, I don't have, and all of a sudden you just have so much food and nothing else to build units with. So, Blid now making a lot of horsemen. I mean, with 28 horsemen, you feel pretty confident. However, StrikeR has 12 spearmen, and gilded spearmen do really well against horsemen, even in those numbers.
You can say that. If Blid takes a direct fight, he's gonna lose all those horsemen in a Niblink. That's gonna be real bad for him. He needs to be on the defensive and snipe out the spears first. So we'll see how he handles this. OTD army is moving out now, and they do take out the Byzantine scout. Maybe it was just a little dip and dive there. Blid on the other side of the wood line, preparing.
He's preparing to move in, but with the Springald coming out, we've seen a lot of talk about these Springalds. 2 in queue now. They deal so well with the melee mass. And yes, there's not a huge melee mass here from Blid, but in the right amount of numbers, they can take on most things. StrikeR also getting the tower upgrade here at the front. He knows the army is coming, trying to buy some time here. And they're in the position. The villagers will be pushed off of gold, but he does have quite a bit of them stacked up. Villagers do make it out alive, though.
Blid sees the spears, does not want to engage their Landsknecht, and Varangians are at the front, and the horsemen trying to flank there while the longbows do the damage. Let's see those Springalds, though. Come on, show me the Springalds, while the OTD backline that does the real damage right now is just kiting back. But it looks like a real decent fight for Blid right now. Horsemen, though, evaporate just a little bit to the OTD might. But this still looks great for Blid. He's taking a good trade. Longbow is now trading out with the super tanky archers from OTD there. And those Springalds are still alive.
Yeah, the Springalds...
Did we just see Springalds destroy this?
Yes. The thing is, the Springalds were not a focus in this fight. The Spearman did an amazing job at keeping the horsemen at bay. He was consistently trying to protect them, and the Springalds were able to fire without getting contested there. Ranged units are supposed to be pretty good against them, but not when they're firing for free in a line.
So the thing is, StrikeR now has a big military lead, so to speak. Its backline is just so scary. It's if you go against OTD and you talk about their spears that delete cavalry and their men-at-arms that just don't die, it's not about those. It's about those 12 crossbows and 18 archers that just do insane damage. And Blid, what's the answer here? He does have the better economy setup right now. He does have better food income. StrikeR still has to scale his farms. But Blid cannot take the fight at this moment.
Blid won't be able to take a fight for a while. And the problem is StrikeR can just keep pushing. With the Springalds here, he does have that protection as well. And Blid doesn't have that mobility that he had earlier. Now, the only way you beat this is if StrikeR makes a very big mistake. And that could be a mangonel drop right on top of a lot of these units, or a tower, mangonel tower in this case. But he's also going for Springalds. He's only going for Springalds.
Okay, first Springald hit. Almost takes down a Varangian. Oh, good cleave straight through the army. Everything's stacked up. I mean, I'm all excited for the Springalds here. Honestly, if StrikeR just moves his ranged mass forward.
Yeah, the ranged mass are trying their best to target fire the Springalds, but the Springalds still reach them, so they're still able to do a little bit of damage. It doesn't look like they're doing a lot, but They're actually able to clean these out pretty quickly. And now you can see the villagers also being picked off on the right side. The archers are just giving them a dirty look, picking them off as they can. And
it was a good run.
Realizes.
It was a good run. He could have maybe taken that fight. The horsemen, maybe they committed just a little too early. Maybe the backline of the OTD was just a little too strong to deal with without siege. But I feel like Blid had a good showing in this. If you look at the military value lead, though, yeah, hello OTD. I'm sure this does not count in the oil, but then again...
Yeah, that amount of olive oil, I think these are rookie numbers, Mr. Order of the Dragon. You need to get those numbers up. You know, I wonder, realistically, if you convert a villager from a civilization that has an alternative resource, should you be able to unlock that technology? In theory, I feel like you should. You should.
Are
you
we doing blood castle things now? Because I'm all for that.
Now, I'm a little bit worried here about Mr. StrikeR going forward, because I know his next opponent is not going to be as gentle as Blid. Blid was aggressive, don't get me wrong. This man, he did an amazing job at really keeping StrikeR on his toes, but his next opponent might not be so forgiving with him going out on a boar all the way in front of his base. So StrikeR needs to make sure that he's careful and calculated about these next moves. But very well played here by Blid. StrikeR showing his dominance. And let's go and see who our next matchup is going to be.